Welcome to Sober.coffee, a weekly coffee chat sharing experience, strength, and hope for anyone on the sober road to recovery. You can download Sober.coffee weekly on all podcast platforms and check us out on Instagram at Sober.coffee Podcast and on Twitter at SoberCoffeePod. To learn more about us and to help support these sessions, visit online at Sober.coffee. Here are your hosts, two guys on their own path to recovery, Mike and Glenn. Let's join them at the coffee shop.
You know, I just love doing sobriety with you.
Thank you.
Thanks for dinner last night.
Nice. We had a great dinner, and just, man, you know what? It's just quality.
It was quality, and our bar tab was manageable.
It sure was. Two Cokes.
That's right.
Two Cokes, man.
So, it's a real quick story.
It wasn't always the day, though, Mikey. There was quite some tabs in the past.
This is terrible. So I'm the big shot, right? When I'm out there drinking and drugging, right? I'm the big shot. Mm-hmm. I got this position in a company, and I got the American Express, and so I go down and I'm like, drinks on me, right? So I left, not because it was the right thing to do, because I had got myself so intoxicated I wasn't even socializing well anymore, and I knew my point, so I exited the party, leaving my American Express with one of my cohorts. So the next day I come in, check that. I leave and I go home, and I get home and I'm all woogie, and my wife's like, we need grocery money. And I berated her for like $200, right? This is terrible, just terrible. Will not shut the door on it. I regret this, but I learned from it. Anyway, so I give her a hard time for a $200 egg bread bill, right? $1,700 went on that American Express because I'm a big shot. So anyway, those days are behind me. Hey, guess what?
Amazing.
Got table for three.
I know. I love table for threes. Well, I was going to tell you about recently. I saw it was posted on social media. Somebody had a $320,000 bar bill in Vegas.
Stop it.
Yeah, the tip.
So far, now that makes my story sound ridiculous.
The tip was $50,000.
Wow.
The tax was like $28,000. Yeah. I mean, I'm just like,
wow.
And I mean, just the. And it
stupidity. Wasn't you.
It wasn't me.
All right, good. So, hey, table for three.
I know, I love table for three.
I want to jump right in because the half hour goes fast, doesn't it?
Oh, my gosh, way too fast.
Yeah, so
let's dive.
Frank, good morning. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for
every time I hear Frank, I think of Frank the Tank.
Frank the Tank,
yeah.
Right. So here's how we ended up in the coffee shop. Walked into a 7 o'clock a.m. meeting at Mokina, our fellowship that we go to, and one of my favorite people in the world was there, Glenn. And he's sitting at the end of the table, and he just means so much to my sobriety. And
not me.
No, not you, Glenn. a different Glenn.
Nope.
But you mean too, whatever. And sitting next to him was Frank, right? And so Glenn introduced him as his sponsor, and right away I thought, connect, because if he is a good AAer, if he is a good program, if he is a quality guy, I want to know the guy that worked with him when he was starting this journey out. And so thank you so much.
Quality begets quality.
You stick with the winners. Quality begets quality. So
you are who you hang with.
That's right. So welcome, Frank.
Thank you. I don't know about all that. I'm just a garden variety drunk.
Oh, I love it. Bringing it back home.
Yeah.
Bringing it back home.
That's what quality always says.
That's right. Oh, that's fantastic.
So Frank, why don't we do this? We like to split up. We have guests and love getting to know you, and just kind of split up between experience, strength, and hope. Right? What did you go through? What did you do? Not really a big drunkalog. But then what did you do? And then more specifically, and the biggest focus is what kind of hope, right? We have a lot of listeners that are sober curious, that are trying to figure this out. And like, I'm not sure if I can make it through today, right? Or full transparency, we're recording this in January, probably going to drop whenever. But, a lot of people are doing this dry January, So just kind of jump in, really looking forward to connecting with you and getting to know you. And I mean, our listeners, especially the ones in Bangladesh.
We're big in Bangladesh, by the way.
We're really
Excellent.
Big. Love to hear, guests and kind of what their stories of experience, strength, and hope are. So welcome.
Okay, thanks. I'm grew up in a small town, had a loving environment, didn't have a traditional dad-mom kind of a thing, but I never lacked for love. So there's no reason that had any impact of where I ended up. I had a couple of dramatic or traumatic experiences with death at a young age of significant figures in my life. Also nothing unique. Plenty of people experience that.
Absolutely.
And it was kind of, I think, more of how I handled it or how I didn't handle it. And that manifested itself later, as I came to find out through working the steps. And then I was fortunate that I was involved in sports, so it kept me out of being in worse trouble than I created.
Right, some kind of structure, a little structure to keep you off the streets.
For sure. Tight-knit. I'm still very close to a lot of my high school classmates. Graduated with 50 people.
Whoa.
So
big school.
Everybody knew everybody.
Right.
So everybody knew what you were doing, too.
Yep.
Right.
And that actually,
hard to hide.
I believe, was a good thing for me. I believe that was a good
Accountability.
thing. Yeah. So then off to college, kind of doing my own thing, and, the weekend getting annihilated and what have you. But what started to happen was the vicious cycle. I would start to have fun and enjoy myself and end up being in a place that I didn't plan to be and acting in a manner that I really would have preferred not to.
Right.
I became angry, towards the end of being really out of control.
Right.
And then I'd get in some, legal trouble, and I'd fix, manage, and control that. Corner cutter, angle shooter, lawyer, whatever it took to resolve that issue so I could get back in the game.
Right.
I get back in the game. Another
Cycle.
traumatic issue.
Here we go again.
Here we are again with some severe consequences. I don't like severe consequences. And I'm not a jail guy, although I've been to jail.
Right.
And but I never connected, you don't have to end up there if you don't do those things. And then it was the last thing that got my attention the most was stopped off the side of the road because the people driving on the road were calling the cops saying this dude is out of control. And had to call my significant other at, 1 a.m. on Valentine's Day. And I said to myself, I am screwed. I knew right at that spot I was screwed because I had a couple of DUIs before this. And this was number 3. And I knew the legal system says, we get the opportunity to throw you in jail.
Oh, boy.
This guy might have a problem.
Good morning.
Yeah, and I think I mentioned I'm not a jail guy.
Right.
And so I was like, I reached the gift of desperation, willing to do whatever it took. And before I hunted down an attorney, I looked up AA and found where it was. And interestingly enough, it was in walking distance of where I lived.
Interesting. Which is perfect since you didn't have a license.
That's right. And I drove by there numerous times before thinking, that looks like a great place to go play pool. Because you can see a pool table in the window. So funny. Alno Club of Joliet.
Okay, wow.
And so I went there full of fear and having no expectation. And it was an open meeting. And so I had an opportunity to hear somebody tell their experience. I connected. I couldn't tell you a lot of the details of what was said there, but I was so willing that at the beginning they said, is there anybody here for their first time ever? And I raised my hand because I didn't know better. Right. And the next thing I know, at the end of it all, somebody comes, I got a book, we got a plan. Hey, what are you doing tomorrow? Come on back and see me. I'm a member of the club. And I was like, what's happening?
Yeah, wow.
What was happening is I was surrendering. I just followed direction because I was so full of fear that my mind was racing. My mind couldn't tell me, here's what you need to do. I didn't know what to do.
I didn't know what to do, right.
And that guy was Jerry C. Gave me my first book, still got it. It was a pretty wild ride.
Yeah.
And every day he just kept saying, what are you doing tomorrow? He didn't say, hey, for the next 3 days.
Right.
No,
he just said, hey, what are you doing tomorrow?
Broke it down.
Nothing. And then that was a Sunday. He goes, hey, you NASCAR races? Yeah. Hey, let's come on to the club. We're having a little food stuff. Watch the race. Just kept a day at a time.
Yeah.
And that's about all I could take at that moment,
right.
you know. And so I did my emotional vomit all over him. And, we sat and talked together for hours. And then he goes,
a guy being there for the next guy.
Yeah.
Gives me goosebumps.
Yeah. And he was like, well, I'm a member of a home group. Come by and, see what you think of that. And I was there. And again, anybody here for the first time? Raise my hand. And then this older guy approached me at the end of the meeting. I'm Papa Jim. I'll be your temporary sponsor. We'll work through the first 3 steps. After that, you can decide if you want to continue.
Nice.
And he temporarily sponsored me for 23 years.
Oh, that's funny.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That is awesome. So you have 23 years of sobriety.
Let's see, January 17th, I'll have 25 if I make it.
If you make it.
And he passed away.
Oh.
So it's pretty interesting. So I touched base about
That's a good
dramatic
temporary
things.
sponsor.
Yeah, no kidding. And and I could handle it being temporary because I feel like I got control of getting rid of it. Isn't that hilarious?
I related to that. I'm like, that works.
Yes. And then it's a leash. It does give you a long leash, and then sometimes it gets short.
It tugs back a little bit, right?
So the traumatic things that happened as a youth, I didn't handle well. But, him passing away was a pretty traumatic thing for me. Because it came down to, I felt like I got a very small core nuclear family. My sister is pretty much the only one left. Parents both gone, grandparents both gone. I was raised by my grandmother, so when she passed away and I was sober when that happened, it was difficult. And, one of the first things I did was call that guy who gave me that first book because he had a similar experience in sobriety with someone who was very close to him. Because at that point again, it's like, when emotional stuff comes on, it's kind of difficult sometimes to go, here's the path to a solution.
Right. And isn't that the beauty of the program? The beauty of the program is that we're Dr. John says it great. We're all the wounded helping heal the wounded, right? So we've been there before. When I have
Hospital for sick people.
Yeah, hospital for sick people. When I have issues, I'll take it to my core, and one of my core has had the similar experience and can guide me through that. But that was not me when I was out there drinking and drugging. I mean, I was going to fix it, figure it out, and power through it myself. And that just got me here.
Well, I wasn't even concerned about the other guy either.
Yeah, right.
It's just me.
Right.
Yeah, the thing of beauty was, for me, that temporary sponsor thing worked because I wouldn't have picked him. Mm-hmm. I would have done the Goldilocks thing. I don't want one too hard. I don't want too soft. I want one just right. The one just right might not have been good for me. Mm-hmm. And he was slow, methodical. I mean, I had to look at him when he spoke because he talked so slow.
Right.
And I'm a gotta-go guy. I gotta go. And it really worked great. A lot of love for him. Tremendous respect.
So you're doing a lot now. You're working with my friend Glenn and others. So what kind of drives your program these days, 25 years in?
Constant contact with others. Whether I'm going to a meeting and having some sponsees attend the same meeting, or whether it's on the phone because I travel a bit for my work. It allows me to stay connected, and when I call, I'm asking about them.
Yeah. Getting out of yourself.
Yeah, for sure.
That's phenomenal.
For sure. Yeah, and there was interesting connection. So when I came in, lost the license, and one of my friends that I really always loved when he would tell the story, you didn't lose your license. The Illinois Secretary of State had it the whole time.
That's right. It's not lost.
Yeah, that's right. I just couldn't manage it,
Right.
I wasn't responsible enough to be able to have it.
Right.
It's really the truth.
Did you get it back?
I did get it back.
All right, very good.
And there was I'll tell you a little of that process. So you go through these things where they evaluate you. I was the level 3 significant, the highest rating you can possibly have. When I did this, it was in Illinois. They said, how many DUIs you had? I said 2. And then I hire an attorney to help me at the hearings to get the back. And he says, okay, we're role playing on the question answers. And he goes, how many have you had? I said 3. He goes, hang on a minute. You wrote 2 here. I said, that's because they asked me how many I had in Illinois. I had 1 in Michigan.
Oh.
And he said, what do you want to do? You want to just hope that they don't find out, or you want to hope that they don't ask you?
Be honest.
And this was the deciding point.
Yep.
This is where I started making different decisions. And I said, let's tell them right up front.
Right.
And we tell them right up front, and they say, go back and get another evaluation. Like, okay,
Yeah.
if that's what you want me to do.
Right.
And it was not going to be a different outcome.
Right.
Isn't that silly?
But could you
whatever.
imagine not doing it? The accountability now and doing the next right thing and just being honest. It saves me a lot of. I sleep better. The stress, the undue stress of when I was not any of those things, it blows me away. I live such a healthier, physically healthier life today because I'm not hiding anything.
Don't have to look over your shoulder.
That's right. Exactly.
Yeah, that's what made me. Well, that was good guidance, right? I mean, some of the things.
It's funny through that process because I've watched other people go through it. Knock on wood, and I'm not planning on getting a DUI today. But I've watched people go through it, and it's almost rigged for lying. Yeah. And I've watched people wrestle with that, Frank, and they're like, my attorney's telling me to lie. And that's against what but they're far enough in the program where they're like, we're not supposed to lie anymore, right? It's an honest program. And so they're like wrestling. And I watch people choose truth and win because they've done that.
Yeah.
And their attorney's like, that's not the right answer. You got to give this answer. And like, but it's not true. Mm-hmm. It's not how I want to live anymore. Mm-hmm. And yet, you circle back and they land up winning.
Mm-hmm. So question for you.
Mm-hmm.
25 years ago, you weren't thinking about not drinking forever. But here you are, 25 years later. It's almost forever, right? So what do you tell the listener who's young enough, maybe had a DUI, maybe a second DUI, maybe they're in the court in front of a judge on their third DUI? What do you tell them about? Give them some hope that they can get through their current challenge and they can live a life that's more rewarding than they ever imagined. What words of advice? And I know they need to be ready to hear it, but give it to them anyway. Maybe they'll play this right at the right time.
I think the biggest benefit that I had received was guidance. I didn't have to be responsible to do it all myself, to know all the answers, to
takes a lot of pressure off.
Face all the fear. Question. Following the direction made it 10 times easier. And what I found was hope. So I came there because I didn't have hope. I'm screwed. I don't have an answer for myself, or I would have done that.
Yeah,
if I'd had an answer for myself, I wouldn't have gone where I went.
I'd still be drinking.
Yeah. And it was the scope of the situation I found myself in, the how big the problem was, led me to not worry about the job and the relationship. It was like, I got to make a change, or I'm going to put myself in the grave. And that's not my choice. Right. That's not my intention, but that's where I'm heading, and I can see it now. I can see that's where I'm heading.
Good for the self-awareness.
Well, it was pretty clear.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. And I needed that kind of a wake-up call for it to be that evident. So I think what really changed it for me was hearing the other people. I had a great sponsor. Well, I've mentioned him, and he said for first few days, when they come around and they ask you, just mention your name, that you're an alcoholic, and that you're under the guidance of your sponsor. I'm here to just listen. He said, because then you're not focusing on what you're going to try to say, but you're trying to listen to what everybody else is saying. Yeah, because what do you got to say?
Frank, it's awesome. So I have, you may know him. I call him Tap Tap Don, right? And he'll sit in a meeting, and I would spend the entire. This is for like years, 3 years. I would spend the entire meeting trying to think of something profound instead of listening, profound to say. So he would tap his knee, right? Because it seemed like every time he heard something profound, he'd tap. So I caught him at a AA picnic a couple years ago, and I said, and I told him that. I'm like, Don, I said, I call you Tap Don, and I said, I just tried, for years. And he goes, Glenn, don't forget. He goes, I do tap my knee when I hear something profound. He goes, but I also tap my knee when I hear bullshit. And I'm like, oh my gosh, which one was it? Right?
Glenn rapidly replaying.
Oh my God, every single one of them, everything. But that is brilliant, and I've never heard that on the advice of my sponsor. I'm going to listen.
You know why I said that? It's because everybody else then is aware why you're passing.
Right. Right.
So they won't
But
say,
it's-
"Hey, you need to speak up."
It's,
No, my
I'm going to
sponsor
sit in a
said no.
meeting now and just and there's times today where I will go into a meeting. I'm like, I'm just going to pass. That way I can focus, right? And I don't have to spin the 7 bullet points in my PowerPoint presentation I'm creating in my head of what I'm going to say, you know. So I love it. But I also love, you know, and going back to what you said earlier, and you know, a lot of sober curious folks listen to us, Frank. And you said you got to a point of desperation where you were willing to do whatever it took. And then so I define that as surrender, right? That was literally my surrender. I looked at my counsel. I'm like, I will do anything you tell me to do. I just cannot take another drink. So that's how when you said that, and then later, a couple sentences later, you came around with the word surrender, you know, because that's definitely surrender. When you say, look, man, I've had it.
Right. Right.
Yeah,
I said it to my wife. I said, I need help. I didn't know what I was asking
Hope
for.
kicks in.
I didn't know what I was asking for. I really had no idea. But the world figured it out for me. They
Yeah.
put me in the right place, the right
They'll put the
rehab.
right people in the
They
right
put the
place.
right place. Yes, it was amazing. Just amazing.
I will touch on one other thing. So there's somebody who's curious.
Yes.
I've seen a lot of people come in and they try to focus on, why does this work? What's the exact formula and
Oh,
the
that was me.
ingredients? And they get hung up with, I can't figure it out. I can't figure it out. And we had texted each other, and it said, you know, when you stop worrying about the why and you start doing the how, the action leads to the change. Yeah. But a lot of people, they want the answers before they take the test.
Well, it's not only, you know, why does AA work, but it's also, why am I an alcoholic, right? I spent years trying to figure out why. You know, I had 10 PhDs at Rush all lined up trying to figure out why I drank. I still don't have it. Who cares? You know, I just don't drink and let me learn to live a different life where I don't need to drink to escape every day, you know, and so I love that, man.
Yeah, and I want to touch on that for a second because I remember I was probably 2 years into the program, and I had an opportunity to share, and the question was just on my mind, and I asked the question of the room, and there was a lot of sobriety in the room, and I said, what is the magic formula? Because I hear spirituality, I hear service, I hear surrender, I hear steps, I hear meetings. What somebody please tell me exactly what the formula is. And I didn't get the answer, but I keep coming back.
Keep coming back to the formula.
Right.
Here's one that's a pretty good. It was John F., a guy from Morris, 50 years sobriety. I did my formal third step meeting with him, and he would say, God has created a situation where a brown cow eats green grass and gives white milk. Do you really need to know how that works?
Right. I love that.
Wow, bring it home.
I love it.
Frank, this has been great. Before we depart, the newbie in the room, listening right now, they're a week, a day, a month sober. Give them a little piece of advice.
Put as much effort into this as you did chasing the drink and the drug. See what happens.
It takes a lot of effort drinking.
Oh, the hiding.
Oh my God.
The time, the
mental
energy.
Chances.
The mental masturbation.
And just see what happens. One of the best things that happened, this guy, Jerry C. again, with the book, he'd say, stick around, it'll get different.
Oh, really?
I like that better than it'll get better because I don't really know.
Right.
But it does get different.
And to quote our friend Dr. John, this is not a feel-good program. This is a get-well program.
Love it. Frank,
All right, man.
thank you so much for coming in.
For coming out this morning.
Thanks for
We'd love
inviting
to have
me.
you back sometime,
Yeah,
man.
come on
We
back. No
problem.
really appreciate
Keep
it.
it up. Thanks for the
All right,
hope.
thanks.
Take care.
Thanks for joining us for today's coffee chat. To contact the show, email us at podcast@Sober.coffee. If you need immediate help, the AA hotline is 800-839-1686. The National Suicide Prevention Hotline is 800-273-8255. Remember, Mike and Glenn are sharing their own journey on the path to recovery. Any suggestions, medical or otherwise, are their own experiences and should not be viewed as professional advice. See you next week, and remember, there is a solution.
Stay safe in the city of Chicago.